Welcome. My name is James Sackey. I'm the marketing director for the Blank Group and your host for the quarterly Deal Pulse, where I'm interviewing top deal makers.
So I'm a partner with Blank Rome.
So in S-Score, we are a direct lender.
For their insights and their feedback.
I think on some of the sell side, you've got some companies that are in a little bit of trouble now.
On what's going on in the transaction world. Let's get to it. Thank you for joining us today. I am joined with Chris McNeill. He is a partner at Blank Rome LLP. Chris, thank you for joining us today. Introduce yourself and give us a little bit of info about your firm.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you, James. So I'm a partner with Blank Rome. We are a national law firm. We opened our Dallas office in 2023. I've been here practicing law, though, since 2001. Excited to have a new platform to continue my practice on. But ultimately, what I focus on from the business, corporate, securities, M&A side is trying to bring my clients the big firm resources while they feel like they still have the personal touch, the customer service, the access of a small firm. I had my own small firm with my mentor for 16 years. That was something that was very important to us, having that hands-on relationship with our clients, and that's not going to change. We just have more resources for our clients now. But that core relationship is still very important to us.
Excellent. I love the boutique touch. Blank Group is also boutique. I don't think you can really beat that, especially down here in the South where, relationships really do matter to us. So I definitely appreciate that. So if you're ready, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about some deals and what we're seeing. So what are you seeing right now in the deal flow? Are transactions increasing? Are they decreasing? Or are they shifting? Just kind of flat?
From what I'm seeing, they're definitely decreasing right now. I saw a significant uptick last year, of course, being an election cycle year. We closed out some deals at the beginning of 2024 that kind of started in 23, second, third, going into towards the end of the third quarter. 2024 was very quiet, kind of just everyone taking a wait and see approach. I noticed, September, especially October last year, all of a sudden, I don't think people really cared who was going to win. It was more just about getting, some direction as to, some clarity as to what it's going to look like. And I think as people started, Trump really started pulling ahead and watching the polling and the percentages, that his chance of victory is increasing. That gave buyers the clarity they needed. So late September, October, all of a sudden deal sheets started, term sheets, letters of intent started popping up left and right. People getting ready to start their diligence, do their QOV, so they'd be ready to close deals first quarter of this year. And that happened. We started off the year with a significant uptick from what last year looked like, closing a lot of deals in January, February, March, April. I think basically like that little wave, has subsided now. That steam as all those deals have been closed. What I'm seeing now, and I think it's largely driven in reaction to Trump getting into office, the tariffs and some of the other policy changes, and everybody, again, it's uncertainty in the business market. And so everyone's like, okay, let's wait and see. This is going to shake out one way or the other, whatever that is. I don't know if anyone has that crystal ball. I certainly don't. But I think once we have clarity, which is maybe beginning to come, and I think it's going to continue to be slow over the summer while that clarity is coming back in the national and international marketplace. And then I think once we have that, I will be very surprised if like maybe late July, August, the deal flow starts up again. Those letters of intent are being signed. My suspicion is third quarter, fourth quarter are going to be gangbusters. We're just going to have a couple quiet months to figure out what the new normal is. There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of sellers with great companies. There's a lot of buyers with plenty of cash. There's a lot of banks waiting to make loans. Hopefully interest rates continue to creep down, not as fast as we want them. But I think as we get some clarity, I think third and fourth quarter, it's going to be really, we've got a couple of years of pent-up demand ready to get down to business.
Yeah, hopefully Q3 and Q4 will be gangbusters like you're suggesting. That would be nice. I think everyone would appreciate that. Speaking for the last 90 days, how have buyer expectations or their behaviors changed in these last 90 days?
Yeah, I mean they're slowing down. They're using more cash buyers, and that may mean smaller deals. But I think buyers are looking at smaller. Maybe I've got some working with some clients on some smaller kind of initial platform acquisitions with deals they can do in cash. And then, I mean, maybe get that in place, and then when interest rates come down and they can go back to the debt markets, maybe they'll add on some bigger pieces faster. But I've definitely noticed over the last 90 days, buyers, if they're doing anything, they're doing smaller deals where they can self-fund the cash component, and of course using earnout, rollover equity, sub debt, things like that to get deals done without having to borrow as much.
Yep. I want to touch on deal types here momentarily, but before moving to that, I wanted to ask, are you noticing any red flags that are killing deals early?
I've seen banks, pull back at the last minute. I had one deal that when it finally went to underwriting and to like loan approval to the board, they're just like, we don't have enough information. We can't do this without a full Q of E. I think banks are definitely being more conservative. So for deals going on, if they have a debt component, you're going to have to dot your I's, cross your T's, stay in constant communication with your bank, make sure you know what they need to get that approval and you're ahead of that, because banks don't want to tell you no. They want to make the loan, but they got to get it through committee. And so make sure you know what they need to get it through committee so you're not caught off guard at the end of the process and have to go back and scramble to catch up.
Yeah, I've heard of a few banks halting some of their lending earlier this year, which was pretty surprising, coming from certain larger banks too. So I've definitely heard some of that as well. So coming back to the deal types, what sort of deal types or maybe industries are most active right now, and what do you think is driving it?
Definitely here in North Texas, commercial construction is hot. Everybody's moving to Texas. We're building data centers everywhere. Commercial construction services, some of these specialty construction services seem to be really hot right now. Of course, AI is definitely, I think that's more of a venture private equity thing right now. We're going to have to wait, and there's a lot of people going in that space, and some of them are going to make it, some of them are going to not. People are trying to apply AI to a lot of different technologies. I think over the next couple of years, we'll see a lot more with AI. I'm surprised we haven't seen much yet with like investing in manufacturing with America, or at least I haven't seen much about that. But I think going back to the tariff situation, people may think it's early to tell. This may be a strategic bluff to get other countries to play uneven terms and then get back to the normal on better terms than we had before. But yeah, here in North Texas, construction services are hot.
Interesting. I can definitely attest to that. A few folks I've spoken with in the last couple months have said similar. And for sure, there's lots and lots more traffic in town in the last few years. So I can tell that there's a lot of development for sure. A lot of big buildings getting built as well. So let's shift a little bit more macro. What's one piece of advice you're giving clients more this quarter than you were last quarter?
Just right now, we're in a bit of a holding pattern. That's not necessarily a bad thing. They should take this opportunity to focus on their fundamentals. We've got, a lot of my clients, they have a chance to catch their breath after, maybe they were distressed, coming out of COVID. They finally got their legs underneath them. Maybe they went through a big growth phase, depending on the industry, and they finally feel like they've stabilized, come out of that, and kind of hit level ground, level playing field. There's nothing wrong with taking your breath and looking and doing an internal 360. Is our team working well? Do we need to do some cap table management? Should we take advantage of some resources we have to maybe buy out some of the smaller shareholders? This is when we're in a holding pattern like this, if a company finds themselves there's nothing wrong with catch your breath, but use that time to kind of do a little self-assessment. Talk to your advisors. See if there's something that you can use this time to be doing that's going to benefit you down the road. Put it to good use instead of just wasting the opportunity.
I like that for sure. Calling on your advisors, kind of pulling in maybe like a little committee, kind of catch your breath, like you said, take a minute and do a 360. That's good. I like that insight a lot. So what about, you mentioned a crystal ball earlier, but let's take out the crystal ball for a moment. And let me ask you, if you had to bet on one shift that's coming next, what would it be?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think we're going to begin to see the intersection of traditional businesses with technology. I think we're going to see some companies, especially in the service fields, a lot of companies, they become complacent and they're like, this is the way we always done it. We just got to keep doing it that way, keep our customers happy. But, with AI in particular, it's going to be as disruptive to many industries as it was when the internet launched. It's going to transform a lot of industries and the way things are done. And I think we're going to see some people like lean into that and take advantage of these disruptive technologies to really pull, in any particular industry that's relevant, some companies are going to grasp technology and it's going to give them a competitive advantage over the ones who don't. Just like back in COVID, like the restaurants, the retailers who figured out creative ways to take advantage of delivery services and stuff like that and using online marketing to keep that customer engagement. They made it through COVID. The smaller restaurant chains, the mom and pop restaurants didn't take advantage of that. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of those. So, I think as AI is coming out, companies have to deal with it. You can't ignore it. And I think those who do deal with it well and who embrace it, they're going to pull ahead. And those who, stick their head in the sand and just say, look, I'm just going to keep doing it the way I've always done it. That's always been good enough. It's going to be like when the internet came out and, decided, I don't need to advertise on social media. You're going to be left behind.
Yeah, that's definitely my sentiment as well. And I think that is the tide that's coming. I would agree with you on that one. Chris, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. This is very useful for me for sure. I hope those watching, it's useful for you. And if you want to find more insights on our Deal Pulse series, you can check out our social pages on YouTube and LinkedIn, as well as our website. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Chris.
Thank you, James. Take care, everybody.